Hey love, so I'm here with my sewing tutorial of my two-part versatile install. I apologize for taking so long to get this video up. Please forgive me guys, but we're going to jump right into this. So I'm sewing in my Peruvian body wave hair from Me Lisa hair company, and I have in two bundles of 24, one bundle of 22 and one bundle of 20. So now I'm starting with my first bundle of 24 inches, and I'm just going to sew this in as if I was sewing in a middle part install with leave out. I'm just going to bring this to the other side, and I'm going to flip my tracks over so that I don't have to cut my tracks. That just helps prevent excessive shedding. So there you have it. That's my first bundle of 24, and I'm just going to go in and sew in the other bundle of 24 the same exact way. Just lay them, sew them around to the other side, flip them back, and continue. So moving on to my 22-inch bundle, like I said, this is just like sewing in a middle part sewing until you get to the very top. So I'm going to do the same with this. I'm just sewing it down and around to the other side of my head, flipping it over and repeating until the entire bundle is sewn in. So now that my entire 22-inch bundle is sewn in, I'm moving on to my 20-inch bundle. I'm going to continue to sew the tracks down from one side, bringing it around to the other side, except at this point in time in the sewing, I do like to cut my wefts. This just gives me a flatter and more natural looking sewing. It's a matter of preference. That's just what I like to do. So like I said, we're going to continue sewing this down and moving around to the other side of the head as if this was a sew in with middle part leave out. The only difference is once you complete that full U as if it was a middle part, we're going to move on and fill in that section of braids to the side that gives us that versatility to flip the hair over into a side part. So now we're going to get to the part of the sewing in which we utilize those straight back braids to the side. Now at this point you can't really bring your tracks from one side of the head to the other. So as you can see, I'm still going to lay the tracks on top of each other, but instead of starting from one side of my head, I'm starting at the back on top of that last weft, but I'm starting here where we have those straight backs. And you want to make sure that these tracks are laid very flat and secure because these braids are also going to be the braids used to sew down your tracks that are going to flip your hair from side to side and give you that flawless install. So like I said, instead of bringing the track from one side of your head to the other, you just want to start at the back on top of those straight back braids. That is your foundation, and bring it around to the other side. And you're going to continue to do that until you fill in your center part of your versatile install. This is what's going to give you your middle part of the install. And then we're going to move along to sew down your tracks that are going to give you that side part. So at this point in time, I'm just going to sew down my anchor track for my middle part of the sew-in, and I'm going to sew it down, and I'm going to bring it to the back. Instead of bringing this track all the way around, I'm going to bring it to the back of my leave out. I'm going to knot the thread. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. I just do this so that the hair flips over to the other side. Really easy, as you see here. Now at this point, I'm going to start to fill in my side part of the install. So this part is pretty easy. You're just going to sew the tracks down, preferably under the braid, and you're going to make sure they're very flat, very secure, and you're going to sew them down. Once you get to the back where you have that track going across, that's where you cut and you knot. And you're going to continue to lay them on top of each other, making sure they're sewn down very flat because you don't want a big lump when you go to flip the hair over. So I'm going to continue to do so here. So you just want to remember to sew them down as flat as possible and as close together as possible without them being on top of each other because you don't want a big lump. Here I'm just making sure that the hair looks good when it's parted down the middle before I go in and add my last track. So if there's anything that I forgot to mention in this video, any questions or comments, feel free to drop them below. I'm going to go ahead and flat iron my hair on a low heat setting because heat damage and I just don't get along. And I'm using the comb chase method because with the comb chase method, you really only have to run the flat iron through once. So I'm going to go ahead and snatch those edges, and that's about it. If you guys have any questions or comments, you already know what to do. I'll have all related videos to this hair in the description box, my other tutorials in the description box. Thumbs this video up if you want more tutorials. Love you guys. Until next time. Stay